Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, with another brand new episode of the Beyond Expedition podcast with the two most favorite co-hosts in the entire world, myself, Eduardo, and my boy, Brett. And I know we lied, and I'm sorry. We're sorry, actually. We should say we took another little break, but for good reasons, okay? Not we don't do these things intentionally. We love all of you, of course, and I bet you miss us every other week because we're your one of your many forms of entertainment. But we're here now. But of course, brother, before we embark on this journey, as I always like to ask you the number one question I always have in the chamber ready for you. How are you doing today, my brother?
Oh, it's lovely. I just woke up a few hours ago from a 16 and a half hour comatose.
Holy
Slept for 16 and a half hours.
Oh, no. Okay. So I don't know if you're being serious
No,
or
I'm
you
being serious. Yeah.
Oh, wow. 16
Yeah.
hours?
Went to bed at 10:30 last night, and then I didn't wake up until like what was it, 4 or something, 3 o'clock, 3:30. I don't know, something. Yeah, 3 or 4
Damn.
this afternoon, but it
I was
was
gonna,
like 16 hours straight.
I was gonna say, Brett, I think that they call those a coma.
I think I think this is what happens to all my friends that do the non-soda variety of
Mhm.
our favorite drink and favorite powder. And that hits them. It hits them, right? They're like, "Oh man, I got to sleep for 16 hours."
Dang, dude. Oh, wow. Well, actually, I'm on the same wagon. Not 16 hours, but I actually took a little power nap as well. Yours truly had to go to work today, this week, and overall. But yeah, man, I'm just kind of out of it, second weekend in a
Yep.
row, just doing the thing. It's been a minute since I've
Yep.
done one of those, but it's just a little bit draining. But we're recharged for now, so we're feeling good. And of course, I'm feeling even better since we're in the virtual studio once again. And yeah,
Yes.
man, I mean,
Yes.
is it? I was gonna say I know you went on a little trip. You want to talk about that? Kind of share like some good because it looked like you had an awesome time, of course. But it's just always good to decompress and just kind of get away from the city and all that. And it's just
Yeah.
really good for your mentals, right? So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
man. I mean, so how was that, if I may ask?
It was good, man. I'll share a little story.
Okay,
So we
let's
went
go.
to
I'm all
Coeur
for it.
d'Alene, Idaho,
Okay.
and we decided, one thing we like to do when we go out of town, we like to hit restaurants that are little hole in the wall restaurants,
Mm,
and just to check out the city. And then, but we always look for like the highest rated ones. But it's got
yeah.
to be
Okay.
something that's not really known.
Hmm.
Sounds contradictory, but those hole in the walls, right? I
Yeah.
love supporting small businesses, and we're big on that. But we want it to be, the best small businesses, right? So we went to this place called the Relic in
The relic.
Coeur d'Alene,
Okay.
and it was a great restaurant. The food, it was basically smoked meats that they were
Ooh.
specialized in, and it was just a little quaint little restaurant slash bar, great little hometown place, right? So anyway, so we're uh we're sitting there, I get my, local stout, whatever their local stout was,
Good man.
and we're waiting for our menu to come in. But one thing I noticed, our waitresses, they were looking at me like, no big deal, right? Like, oh, just another
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 one,
white
right?
guy, right? And
Yeah.
in a town full of white people, and it is what it is, right? But they keep looking at my wife, and
Oh, okay. That was
and then
dumb.
all of a
Okay.
sudden they come over, and I thought, we've been in this situation a million times, right?
Hmm.
Where we're just, oh, we saw you, we recognize you from the show, yada, yada, yada. But this was not that case. They did not recognize us from the show.
Okay.
These two waitresses, like, they were just coming over and telling us stories about what was going on at other tables, and da 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 da. And me, I have horrible hearing, so when they talk low, I don't want to make it awkward by saying what. So I've just learned just to nod at everything and laugh, right? Nod and laugh. That's what gets me through.
For sure.
So, so anyway, but they're really focused on my wife, and finally, you know, one of the waitresses was like, you are gorgeous. You are so pretty. Where are you from? So, whatever, right? I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay, this is now awkward. Um, but like they both just kept staring at her and then talking to her for anything. Anyway, so we leave the restaurant. And I look over at my wife and I go, you know what happened, right? And she's like, what? And I go, those girls wanted to take you home with you. they, they wanted to take you home. They didn't care about the ring. They did
Yeah.
not care about the finger collar at all. At all. Yeah.
Oh
So
man, they were trying to bag wifey, just get her number or something. Be like, hey, I know you're with
yeah.
him, but It doesn't matter.
Can you give me your Insta? Are you on Insta?
Oh man. So she was
Yeah.
so wifey was totally oblivious about the fact that they were trying to legit hitting on her, right?
Yeah, I think I think in her mind it was
Yeah.
like, okay, they're just being shy about
Mhm.
recognizing her from the show. They just don't want to say anything, so they're like going in other ways. But no, I know what it looked like. I know what it looked like. I know what I saw.
So coming from a true player, I know what I saw.
So
Oh
aside
man,
from that,
okay.
though, man, it was great
That was
getting out of
good.
town. Just taking the family out there. I've got my 14-year-old. She's driving. I let her drive for
I saw that. I
two and a
saw
half
that.
hours on the highway. Yeah, she did great, man, and it
That's
was so
awesome.
good because I didn't even know if it was legal. And
You're like,
I'm like,
go
that's
ahead.
basically what it is. I'm like, the quicker we can get you to picking me up from the bar, the better. So let's just get this road time in.
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, man. Time flies, man. I saw that picture. I'm like, man, time is sure flying. Our kids are getting older. It's
Yep.
it's it's not us doing the driving, they're doing the driving now. So it's a beautiful thing, man. And that's the first thing I messaged you. I'm like, damn, dude, you're gonna finally have somebody to pick you up when you're slammed, just drunk at the casino, wasted all your money, miserable.
Yes.
You got someone to call
Yes.
instead of Uber or a taxi, so you're good.
Exactly. Yep. And she's gonna come for me every time because if she doesn't, she doesn't get college paid for.
It's a fair exchange in my eyes. That's how I see it. You know what I'm saying?
It really is.
So overall, you're talking about you're at this restaurant with wifey. What was the meat good? How would you rate that restaurant you went at?
Okay, so on Yelp or whatever we
Yeah.
saw, it was like 4.
Mm-hmm.
No, that was like no. Us, I'm giving it a 5 on everything. The
Oh,
only thing that it was like, they took forever for us to pay, but I didn't even care, man. I just like gave them a monster tip too, just because I'm just like the service was great, the food was great, the drinks were great, everything like it was beyond our expectation.
expectation. Nice, nice. Okay, cool,
Woo!
cool. Nice,
So
man. That's what's up.
yeah,
It's
so
it's so
they would have got a 5 for sure.
definitely. And it's always satisfying too when you go to spots that you never tried it before. It's kind of a gamble, right? But like you said, if you go off of what people are rating it and you kind of do your diligence to do some research, like
Yep,
9 times out of 10, maybe 8, like you get a spot that definitely speaks from what the people say that it's really good or not.
for
It's
sure.
very, very recurrent. So you go in there, you're just like, oh, I'm disappointed. It's not good at all. But
Well,
that's what's up, man.
what sucks when you go to a restaurant that is highly rated, right?
Yeah.
But then you just happen to just on that particular moment or day get the worst server or the server's having a bad day or whatever,
Oh,
and you're
dude, I
just
know.
like,
Okay, yep,
this is a letdown, man.
for
This sucks. Like
sure.
I know you guys could be better because I've seen your rating, but man, just wasn't my day. It just wasn't in the cards.
Dude, I know, man. Yeah, for sure. It's always a shame, right? It always takes just one certain thing to kind of fucking hit the cards and just like let them all crumble at that point. But yeah, man, that's good though on your end. At least you enjoyed your meal and it was a good eating. It's like do anything barbecue, right? Anything meat. I think for me it's just like
God.
dude,
Yes. Yes.
A1, brother, A1. But on that note, man, of course, there's a lot of stuff going on in this world. One of
Yep.
the things definitely I wanted to pick your brain on. Now we jump into this segment of the podcast that we call the WTF segment, where we just dive into the most randomest topics. But one of the things that definitely came up on my little radar is this whole thing going on with money. Now, people are probably freaking out saying that the dollar's crumbling, the dollar is over. I mean, but like you've said, you schooled me up before in the past. The dollar's been crumbled a long time ago, ever since it's not backed by anything at all. It's just
Yeah.
literally printed paper that we put out. You have $100, $100, $50, $5, $10, you name it, whatever.
Yep.
But something
Yep.
interesting is happening. So just to kind of summarize what's going on and what I'm referring to is there's multiple things here to touch on, and I just kind of trying to figure out where we can go to first. But the first one, of course, is with this talk in regards to these other countries linking up BRICS, right? So
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong. It is BRICS. Let's see if I can remember this correctly. Brazil,
Yep.
Russia,
Yep.
India, South
Yep.
Africa,
Mhm.
China,
Yep.
and what's the other? What's the
That's
S?
no, those
Oh,
are the
this?
5
Okay, okay.
founding countries. Perfect. You got 100% on that. And
Oh,
then,
dude.
but so those
Sorry.
were the founding ones, and then now they are taking on other ones. So like Saudi Arabia wants to get involved.
Yes.
There's another African nation that wants to get involved. And so if they're waiting on, they're waiting on approval basically, but Yeah, yeah, they're basically BRICS is to counter the world reserve um, as the world currency. So that's what they're working on right now.
So as of now, pretty much they just it's poised as a potential threat for the U.S. currency to where they're only trying to trade with the current money that is from China, correct?
The yuan, yep,
The
yep.
okay.
And they're trying to go with the digital yuan at
Oh,
that.
that
So
I did not know. Wow. Okay.
yep,
So and then
and
also,
so
okay,
go
keep
ahead.
going, brother. No, keep
No,
going.
I was just going to say with BRICS, what they're doing to prove the value of their currency is all of the countries have to, when they come in with the bank, all of that money has to be backed by gold, just like the U.S. dollar used to be have to be backed by. So they're going back to old school metrics, old school methods, and it's gold has been the currency for the last 2,000 years. Why
Yeah.
change? And yet America tried to change with petroleum, and now I don't know what they're trying to back it with anymore, other than military. That the only
Yeah.
way that it's going to be backed down by now is through military force, but even that can change. So
Definitely. So you got that right coming out of the pipeline. And not too long ago, I would say about 2 days or a day ago, I sent you this little article in regards to how now they want to go to a digital currency as well, which is
yep,
called Fed Now. It's an app
yep.
that's called Fed Now. But okay, let's put our conspiratorial tinfoil hats on, our imaginary
I
ones.
love it.
So one of the things that happened also of last week, there was an incident where one of the people or one of the co-founders of Cash App, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, he got killed. He got stabbed in San Francisco, and he pretty much he passed away.
Mm-hmm.
So they're saying now, could that be tied in with what's going on now? Like coincidentally, that same week, all of a sudden now Fed Now comes into the picture. Now it's going to be the first app or the app that's for the Federal Reserve. And now the whole conspiratorial side comes from where we're talking about how they want to go, when they want to make this money digital wise, so where they can snoop around and people on what people are spending their money on and just
Yep.
having control pretty much, right? The Federal
Yep.
Reserve having control of the people's money. But
Yep.
for now, from what I've read, it's kind of like any other app, right? Where you have Zelle, Cash App, and Venmo. It's trying to fit into that criteria type of
Yep.
app, right?
Yep.
But it's also weird though. So I don't know, man. So what do you think overall? How do you see this as being what kind of move can you say that this is kind of from the Federal Reserve? Like what speaks to you when you see that?
Oh, with Fed Now. So Fed Now, what I see is I see a benign reasoning behind it, and I support it. I support innovation. I support technology. I
Mhm.
support that.
Mhm.
However, when you have so many on the top that are following China's way of their digital yuan and how they are literally are tracking their citizens and even limiting their citizens, and you have so many people on the top that are involved in this that are using China as the method, that's what sets off the alarm bells in me. Now, but let's just start with the benign. Let's start with the innovation side of it. So basically, we have a financial world that runs Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, right? And so if you need to make any transaction after hours, that money does not get posted to your account until the next day, right? So now with all of these other services, people are able to make big purchases 24/7, and that's what the world wants. We are a world that never sleeps. We are a global world where we are working with multiple countries all at once. And and so if someone from Saudi Arabia does not want to wait, or wants to make a transaction and doesn't want to wait for American business hours, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, then they're going to start looking outside of that. And so that's what Fed Now is the solution for. And that's what, and that's good, right? That's good. It keeps us innovative. It keeps us on top. It keeps us at the leading on the leading edge of financial tech. So it's good. The problem with this, with Fed Now, is it's tokenizing the US dollar. And so the thing about cryptocurrencies that we love so much, and it's not, it's is decentralization. Now, a lot of coins, a lot of tokens are not as decentralized as we'd hope, as we'd want them to be here for us, those of us in the crypto space. And so we don't like that. That's something that we in the crypto world are trying to navigate and get around and try to improve. Bitcoin, though, however, is decentralized. It's decentralized. If I want to send you money, right, and it doesn't matter if you're on a Fed watch list. It doesn't matter if you're the Pope. It does not matter. I can send you that money, and no one can stop me from sending that money. So that's financial freedom. It's no different than if I had US dollars in hand and I wanted to give you the money physically. I could give you that money. There would be no problem. Nobody could stop that from happening. By the tokenization of the US dollar, CBDCs, does stop that. So and this is where the conspiracies come in. So say they implement laws. Let's just go with gun laws. Gun laws are a touchy subject for a lot of Americans. And so say you get people in our state, say they can control it from a state level and say, okay, everyone in Washington state, they track me now, right? Mm-hmm. And so even though we have this law that went through in our state that says we cannot purchase any magazines that have 10 round anything more than 10 rounds, right? So now as a Washington resident, I can't. Do I own some? Yes, I do. I'm grandfathered. Everything I own was purchased before the law took place. However, if I wanted to, I could slip over to Idaho right now and buy a magazine because it's legal in Idaho, right? And they're not going to know. They don't check my identification, nothing. If I want a 20-round mag, I buy a 20-round mag. CBDCs could say, okay, these are the criteria that you have to work within. So even if you go to Idaho, because you're a Washington resident, you are prohibited from making this purchase. That's the thing. And so then they track you. So there's other things too. So those are the limitation, right? They can instantly give you money. They can instantly take it out. If they want to garnish your wages, they can take it out right then and there. The other thing is, and the thing that just does not get talked about is, okay, so we have our bank, right? And we always laugh at people who want to save money in the bank because savings gets you nothing, like a 0.1%, right? That's nothing
really.
Like, you have a 10,000 in there, and then at the end of the month you get $1 back or $10 back. Like like inflation is not even keeping up with inflation, right? You've literally lost money by keeping it in the bank with how inflation is running. So your 10,000 you put in last week or last month is now worth 9,000 this year at 10% inflation. That sucks, right? So, but with FedNow, with tokenization of CBDCs, doesn't matter if they're in a bank. They have what's called negative interest, meaning you have to pay them for access to your own money. And that's what's going to happen. And nobody talks about that one. So you're losing money, not only in taxes, not only inflation, but now just for holding the currency, you lose money.
You got to cough up some dough.
Negative interest.
Man, excuse me. It's just such a scam, man. Like, I get it. Like, innovation, right? We talk about from the perspective of innovation, if we're trying to evolve the matter of money, like in general, right? To just go from, like you said, you could pay anybody, anytime, anywhere. It doesn't matter. Financial freedom. That's in bold letters. That's what sticks out to me. But with this, it kind of hammers down on that. It kind of goes against, I guess, everything that really what crypto stands for. And to me, it just sounds like they're really trying to pivot away from even going down to the crypto side. They want to have full control. I think for me, what it really boils down to, in my opinion, my humble opinion, is they're really trying to get away from crypto. They want full control of this because they damn know near right that they can't control crypto at all 100%. They can't.
Yep.
So that's
decentralized.
This is the only way they can somehow dip their fingers into it and make whatever it is that they want from it. So to me, it's kind of phony. I'm not going to mess with it. I'm not going to touch it. Because to me, it's like, I want control of my money that I earned, that I made. I don't want nobody else overseeing nothing. But again, that's just me. But will they? I mean, okay, here's the question. Do you think it will get to the point where push come to shove, they're going to somehow try to make it where every U.S. citizen is going to try to have to go that route, or of having their money digitalized and in their what is it? Not their app overall, but in a pretty much like crypto, right? Something like that where it's going to be all digital. Yeah.
and I'll answer. So okay, so let me try to repeat the question to make sure this is your question, and
Yeah.
then I'll answer that. The question I think you're asking is, are they going to try to force us into using CBDCs?
Yes.
Yes, and
Mhm.
the answer is slowly. They're not gonna. So they don't want us to look. Have you seen what's going on with Italy right now? The
We
riots
touched a little
going
bit
on.
about it. Yes. Yes.
So and basically what happened in Italy is they went through a top group, they without any running it by the Italian citizens or whatever. They raised the
The retirement, right?
retirement age from 62 to 64, but they didn't take any votes on it. They didn't run it by the citizenry, nothing. They just overnight, just one day, made the decision, left the people completely out of it. And that completely goes against democratic ideals that we are supposed to have in democracies. You are not supposed to act as a king anymore. And that's why in Italy, especially, they've cut off people's heads for doing this same type of thing. Same thing in America. We've literally, when we fought Britain, we fought them over raising our taxes, uh, double taxation without
Mm-hmm.
representation. We went to war over this stuff. The problem is they're pulling in people from all over the country and flooding us with immigrants from all over the country that come from those types of countries that they're running from. It's a Trojan horse though, because these people think that they're coming to the land of the free and it's democracy, but really what they're trying to do is get these people on the voting roster so that they can vote this type of thing in. And like, oh, at least it's better than this. It's better than this. Pick your poison, right? But the real thing is no, you're literally losing freedoms by allowing this stuff to happen. So by forcing us into CBDCs, yes, they will slowly. So first, it will only start with businesses, right? Businesses are going to be the ones leading the way. And then slowly they're going to try, and they're at the same time, they're going to condition us into making it look convenient. So they're not going to do anything nefarious at first, right? They're not going to do anything that's going to set off the alarm bells. In fact, they're going to give you more reasons that it works versus more reasons that it doesn't. So they're going to start off real slow and they're going to condition us for a while. And then I would say after about 5 to 7 years, things are going to start changing. Now, all of a sudden, they're going to say, okay, you can only get Medicaid or any government services we provide through CBDCs. So if you're someone who is retired and you have no choice, but you still need to eat, you still need to get health services, what is your option? You
Mm-hmm.
are now forced into CBDCs.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's how it starts, and then eventually it goes on to now everything. And again, this is digital money that's backed by nothing, and that was always the argument with crypto, right? Was with Bitcoin. But with Bitcoin, we know that fiat it took fiat to buy it, to have it, and then it takes the agreement from someone else to say, okay, will I buy this product from you or this service for this amount of Bitcoin? And that's where two parties agree or disagree. If they agree, then boom, the transaction takes place.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I see that. I can see that happening. It's kind of like tick for tat, where in order for you to do this, you're gonna have to sign up to Fed now, and you're gonna have to put all your
Yep.
money, all your eggs in one basket, and that's just how it's gonna be going forward. Yeah, man, it's one of those things we've talked about before, dude, and it's kind of coming into fruition, and it's slowly but surely to where it's really going to come down to this. I mean, we're going to see the age of just it's all going to be digital currency at some point down the line. I mean,
Yep.
I'm not surprised by this, but to think that they're trying to pimp, like it's almost literally the same thing. It is literally the same thing as crypto, right? So why is it that they're bashing
It's not.
crypto? Oh,
No,
like no,
no,
but I'm
no.
saying like the
Okay.
ideology, like it's digital. It's
Yes.
digital. That's what
Digital
I'm
money.
saying.
Yes.
Digital
Yes.
money. But it's more to say that they're dissing so much crypto before, saying that, well, who do you know is buying this or who do you know sending money? There could be money laundering. They do that thing with money now. What's the difference? Like that's the thing. It's so hypocritical to me, and that's so funny, and I laugh so much when they try to make this seem like their version is way better than the version that was created by the people, right?
Yep.
So it's crazy to
Well,
me.
let me tell you this about money laundering, right? Um, so were people money laundering with Bitcoin? Of course they were. They had the digital Silk Road, I think is what they called it, where the one guy had started a website and where you could like snuff people with Bitcoin. You could buy
Mm,
drugs with Bitcoin and all that. And that was in 2012, and he got busted big time for that. And the feds seized a lot of that Bitcoin. Um, but criminals, even if they put us all on CBDCs, criminals are going to find another medium of exchange. So, they're not going to work with CBDCs at that point. It may be silver, it may be gold, it may be whatever, but they will find another medium of exchange to commit their crimes. So you're never going to get away from it. But
for sure.
but that's what they're going to say that they're combating. But the reality of it is we have 330 million Americans. The reality of it is they are trying to figure out a way where they can track our everything, and not just track, but also control our spending. So if they don't want us to spend a certain amount of money, like you know, excuse
Ooh.
me.
Your excuse.
Stella's talking to me, baby. But I love Stella though. She's a good girl. But but the thing is, so they want to control. So if they say, okay, remember when we went to through the pandemic
Yes, sir.
and people were hoarding toilet paper like crazy?
Of course.
Okay, so they can do this thing. They can program it to say, okay, every household can only buy X amount of toilet paper. Say there's civil unrest going on. They can literally program your money to not be allowed to purchase ammo or any type of guns during that time, or certain people to not buy guns or ammo at that time. It's a mess. It's a mess. And that's what's scary, is that we live in this so-called democracy in name only, but we are acting as a totalitarian state where the government controls everything as if they were a dictator or a king, and they have conditioned us to not react to it, not react to it at all. And that's
Listen and
what
obey.
is insane to me is, I mean, lately I've been watching a lot of on Netflix. They have a Waco thing, Waco series documentary on David Koresh, on when he was the cult leader of the Branch Davidians in 1993.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the second time that the government came in with a militarized police state force, and they came in with tanks and threw in tear gas canisters under Attorney General Janet Reno at the time, President Bill Clinton. And they were, what they said was they were using canisters with tear gas canisters that were on the list of no-nos on the Geneva Convention. So they were using literally war weapons, weapons of mass destruction, weapons that were not allowed under the Geneva Convention. They were using it on their own people in
Crazy,
Texas.
dude. That is, I heard about that story too. Yeah,
it's crazy, man. And I'm not at all defending David Koresh, but I am defending his civil rights that he had at the time. And this whole thing started over 4 weapons charges. They said they were accusing him of possessing 4 fully automatic weapons, which is a $300 tax stamp per gun. So it was what, $1,200 that the government came in with tanks on and killed multiple children, multiple people.
talk about excessive force. That was excessive force. Holy
That was
moly.
too much.
That was just overkill, dude.
Yep.
Definitely.
And that was the second time. Before that, it was Ruby Ridge over in Idaho with Randy Weaver, and the FBI came in there, and they, the old way of doing things with someone like Randy Weaver was negotiate. Right? There's a negotiation that takes place. Hey, what's it going to take for this situation to resolve? But at that time, there was a new guy that came in and said, nope, we're coming in with full force. We're shooting everybody. Randy Weaver ended up losing his son, losing his wife, losing his baby over that. And
wasn't it over disputed land too as well? Wasn't it over land?
Oh man, I don't know what the thing with Randy Weaver was.
I want to say that one was about land. I was trying to think if it was a Waco or this one that was over land. It was a dispute over land. I don't know, but overall,
it could have been. It could have been
definitely just excessive force, like I said, being used, man. But more of the story: do we trust the government? That's the one question. Negative. Nope, not with this stuff. No, I've already lost. For me, it's crazy though to think back. I always think about this. Back in high school, I would never even care about politics. I could care less. I still don't
Yep.
really, only unless it's something that really does catch my interest to really kind of pay attention to what's going on or what they're talking about. But to fast forward now, right, like where we're at now, it's just like, dang, never would have thought I would be paying much more close attention. And even the older folks back in the days would tell me, hey, this is the type of stuff you guys want to pay really close
I
attention to
know.
and really be involved if you can, because all this is going to matter. It's going to affect all you guys. And we were so young. I mean, we didn't care. It was just more like, we were living in the moment at that time and we didn't really care. Politics was like the last thing on our minds. But oh boy, I'll tell you what,
Yep.
it's a different story now, man. So it's crazy,
Yeah,
man. It's
it
insane
is
what's
crazy.
happening.
But
But
oh,
you
go
want?
ahead.
No, go for it.
I was just gonna say the I guess the lesson to be learned in all of this though for people who want to protect their money, want to protect as much as they can, is for one, be a law-abiding citizen. Follow the laws, stay as under the radar as you can, right? If you do have problems with the government, don't go on social media and advertise it and broadcast it. Don't do things that are going to get you on the radar. Instead, silently prepare, right? Stock your food up. Have months of food on in your supply, in your garage or whatever. Excuse me. And have your means of self-defense. Have that ready to go. Have an exit plan. And if you have money, look at converting some of that savings to gold, silver, precious metals, and cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin. Bitcoin is really the only one I would recommend people to convert it to, even though I'm in a number of different other projects. I'm more in those projects as more of an investor. But if I want like a hedge to protect me, Bitcoin, if I'm going the digital route, Bitcoin is the way to go, because you can literally carry your thumb drive with you, not thumb drive, but hard wallet, cold wallet, wherever you go. And, like if you're going to another country, and you have to do the declaration of how much you have in cash, your Bitcoin, you don't have to claim any of it. It's so decentralized that nobody knows that you have millions of dollars in Bitcoin, and you're planning on using it in another country. That nothing anybody can do about that. And that's what of course they want to stop. But anyway, that's the way to protect yourself. Precious metals, digital currencies such as Bitcoin. I don't trust Ethereum. Ethereum has gone in a direction that I'm not comfortable with. So I wouldn't even recommend Ethereum, but Bitcoin is the one I would recommend. And then real assets, like make sure that your loans are paid off. So your car is paid for. Your home, if you can afford to pay off your home, have that, but have real assets that can earn you money in the event of a crazy situation.
Yeah, oh for sure, dude. Oh, check it out. I was telling you that I was buying some what is it, precious metals. I got this little coin right here. I don't know if you see
Yeah.
one of the
Oh,
little
let's
coins
see
right
it.
there. It's
Hell
it's a
yeah,
little
baby.
Aztec coin. I don't know if you can see the detail, but it's in the back too, has a nice little cool design, or you can see
I
it.
love it.
But
I love it.
so yours truly, slowly but surely. Oh shoot, I'm kind of fading away. My caramel complexion is blending away. Oh, dude, nice.
I
And
love
also,
my little I keep my gold and my silver on hand,
nice.
most of it's safe in the safe, but got some stuff here.
And a little freebie that my homegirl that she sold us. Shout out to Vicky. Give me a little piece of silver right here too, as you can see, a little freebie she gave me.
Now that's a friend right there.
Yeah,
Yeah, shout out
so
to
I'm ready,
Vicky.
baby.
That's
I'll try.
good, man.
I'm
I
trying to
love
get
it.
ready. But yeah, no. More of the story: prepare yourself. It doesn't hurt to always have a plan B, C, D. You know what I'm saying? So hey, whatever happens, happens. All I can say. But we're gonna ride with you on this, and we're gonna keep you up to date with what's going on with that. Of course, we definitely try to dip our fingers into whatever is of interest in regards to the topics that definitely could affect us all down in the future. But till then, we'll see what happens. But on another note, my friend, the world keeps on spinning. That is right. On another note, there's one little article that I sent you that I probably bet you were super extremely happy about, but I'm gonna read this off top, okay?
Okay.
Guess you really can't beat the real thing. Coca-Cola gets its iconic taste thanks in part to a chemical processing factory in a sleepy New Jersey neighborhood that has the country's only license to import the plant used to make cocaine. The
Man, that is
Maywood-based
insane.
facility, now managed by the Stepan company, has been processing coca leaves for the soft drink giant for more than a century and had its license to import them renewed by the Drug Enforcement Agency earlier this year. The coca leaves are used to create a decoconized (parentheses) ingredient for the soda, and the leftover byproduct is sold to the opioid manufacturing company Melon which uses the powder to make a numbing agent for dentists, Daily Mail reported. It isn't clear how much coca leaves that Stepan company imports annually, although the New York Times reported in 1988 that it brought in between 56 to 588 metric tons of coca leaves from Peru and Bolivia each year, citing DEA figures.
Wow. Dang, dude. Man.
Oh, dude.
I've suddenly come up with a number of things that I need a numbing agent for.
So can we say that these guys are really drug pushing for real and bringing all that stuff the legal way? It's like, come on, man. I'm sorry, but I have to say that I don't know. I don't. It's a Coca-Cola overall, major, huge company, multi-billion-dollar company. I would think, somehow those coca leaves go missing, but I don't know, man. It seems kind of so. They're taking the part that's decoconized. That's just a funny word. The main ingredient for the soda, and the rest of it, they're giving it to the opioid manufacturing company for dentists used as a numbing agent.
Wow.
Seems really, I don't know. It just seems like, yeah, there's definitely two layers to this, but I don't know, man. What do you think? What do you think about this?
So, I mean, I have a lot of libertarian leanings. So, when it comes to drugs, right? I hate seeing drugs destroy people's lives, right?
Yeah.
But I think if used responsibly, right, people should be able to use cocaine as a numbing agent, right? If that's the way it is. So I'm not what I don't want to see though is that if you're going to allow for a business to be able to make money off coke, right? But then you're coming through going gangbusters on all of our neighborhoods, and right, and you're separating families, separating fathers from raising their children. That's what I have a problem with. Is that you're treating it two different ways, right? Like, oh, it's okay because he's going to the dentist. Well, what if you opened up ways for our local drug dealer to work with a dentist himself, and make money directly from the dentist instead of polluting our neighborhoods with drugs, right? What if you did that? But instead they don't. They break up our homes, they break up our communities, and they all of a sudden now we have a generation of homes without fathers in it, and you need fathers and mothers to raise the children properly. Sure. So they went way hard on all these drug dealers, but then now they're letting a soft drink company do the same thing, and then make tons of money on top of the profits they already make. So I don't like that part of it.
That's the thing. Yeah, you brought up a good point. People that were getting arrested for this back in the early 80s, into the late 80s, whatever, into the 90s,
and today.
Yeah, today. To get thrown in prison for this for long term, but they can do it and make still heavy profits from it. That's crazy. Mm-hmm. That is crazy.
That's what I'm saying.
Especially too with weed, right? When they passed the laws to make to legalize weed as well, you still have people that are probably serving time for that as well. So it's like I don't know. It's just I think it's kind of lame, but it's damn, I had no clue that they were actually putting those ingredients in there again. I don't know if this was
I didn't either. I thought with all of the their Coke especially, they're always re-engineering their taste. So I've always wanted to taste an original Coke. Could you imagine? They say it's a medicine. Yeah, medicine. But
just super hyperactive. All of a sudden, you just feel wide awake, active.
I'm getting so much shit done. I am so productive.
I don't know. Do you think they still sell some that are still sealed? I'm sure the thing has an expiration date, but do you think some people still have some of the old Coca-Colas from back in the days?
Man, if they did, I'm sure we'd know about it. It'd probably be in a museum.
Oh, okay. Insane.
That would be dope, though. No pun intended. It'd be dope if they did.
Yeah. So more of the story, they're putting cocaine back in Coca-Cola as he stays
Man.
true to his name. So I mean, peep it out if you guys can get some. I don't know. I mean, maybe we've been drinking it this whole time and I just never knew it. I mean, yeah, no wonder I feel good all the time, right?
Hey, I say, speaking of, like, whatever, once in a lifetime, that death row wine that I got you and
Yes, yes.
myself, they sold their last bottle, so there's no more. They're never gonna
No
make it
more.
again. So what you have and what I have is a moment of history, baby.
Oh, dude, yeah. Shout out to Uncle Snoop, definitely making that piece of a fine wine. I mean, if you definitely if you don't know what we're talking about, we had the limited edition of Death of Wine that my boy here gifted me a bottle. He has a bottle. We shared one together on a past preview episode. Go check that out if you want to hear our review about it, just kind of what we think about it overall. Go check that out. But yeah, I saw that it sold out. That's crazy. So from here going forward, no more will be made. That's it. That's the last
Yep,
call, right?
gone.
Oh dang. Okay, okay. So yeah, so I have my back there still with my All Eyes on Me Tupac what is it, vinyl that you gifted me next to it. You know,
Yeah,
the real
baby.
deal, man, the real
Hell
deal.
yeah.
All right. So we got this next topic, right? I do have some topics in the chamber. Actually, I did have some that are saved. And good thing I always DM these to you because it's kind of like my backup server. So just in case I tend to forget to email them to myself, I have them right here, and I have one right here in ready, locked, and loaded. So now,
Perfect. Let's
okay, this
hear
is
it.
this is one of the things that before I read this, I want to say, if someone were to ask me, Eduardo, what's one of your many fears? And I would say without any hesitation, the ocean. We don't know what's down there. We don't know. We haven't
Yes.
fully explored what really is truly down there. But
Yeah.
this makes it much more scarier right here. So I'm gonna read this little topic. Scientists have discovered a massive reservoir of water, 3 times the volume of all Earth's oceans beneath the Earth's surface in a transition zone between the upper and lower mantle. The international study confirmed a long-standing theory, revealing the Earth's water cycle includes its interior. The research team analyzed a rare diamond from Botswana formed 660 meters below the Earth's surface and found high water content in its composition, indicating that the transition zone holds significant amounts of water.
Wow.
Dude, oh, it's like when you think about all this stuff. This is the stuff that I don't like thinking about before I go to bed, man, because I freak myself out, and
Things that keep you up at night.
dude, it keeps me up, and I do this to myself. It's like, why do I do this to myself? And
Yeah.
it's the same with yesterday I was watching this video about the conspiracy there is about the moon landing, which I do want to touch a little bit bases on, but we'll go into that. But this one in general, right? How the ocean, there's so much down there that we just have no clue
Yep. Yep.
what's all living down there. And there was this one video that I came across. Somebody had they responded, has anybody seen that video about the octopus with the longest tentacles ever seen on video? Dude, this thing was massive, and it was by this oil rig, like where they're getting oil from. Dude, these tentacles, I would say, are long as like 2 full buses, dude. I swear, like, dude, if this thing is down there, what else is down there? Like,
Yeah, dude.
they talk about how like the theory about with megalodon still being alive, which is one of the largest sharks ever to exist
Yeah.
back in prehistoric times. Is it prehistoric times? I think so, right?
The Meg, isn't that a movie on Netflix right now?
Oh, I think it is. Yeah, the
Meg
Meg,
or
yeah, the
the
one with
Meg.
Jason Statham.
Could be.
Yeah,
I don't know
okay.
actors' names.
Yeah. But yes, yeah, it's yeah, the movie I need to watch that. I've been very curious to watch it too. But yes, another ocean inside the Earth's what
That's
is it?
insane.
The Earth's surface. Yeah. Dude, what do you
So
think, man? I mean, did that ever occur to you to think that, when I think about the core or the center of the Earth, they always say there's like what do they say? What's the word I'm looking for? It's
lava,
lava.
mantle,
Yeah, lava, right? But now
lava.
they're saying there's a freaking ocean. So how does that make sense? Well, can lava underneath the ocean? That makes sense, right?
Lava. Yeah, lava underneath the ocean. Yeah, as
Yeah.
long as there's like a protective layer of crust
Okay.
protecting
Okay.
it, right? And then that's when 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 the crust gets a crack in it and breaks through, that's when the lava comes up and all that stuff. No, listen, I am glad that they're finally putting more scientific um direction, energy, efforts into the ocean, because literally 70% of the Earth's surface is water, and the oceans make up so much of the mass of this Earth, and we know so little about it, right? And this is where I get frustrated with, like them sending all of these satellites out to past our solar system and taking pictures of that. I get it. I understand it. But why aren't we investing more scientific research into what is already here?
Mm-hmm.
And what can we do, what can we discover, what can we learn, and what can we do with that information that we get to improve our current state? And so yeah, I'm with you though. Like I've been like when we go to the Philippines, we'll be on a ferry, right? And we'll
Mm-hmm.
just we're just going through the sea, from one island to another. And that ferry is just rocking. And I'm just like, man, if this thing were to sink and all of us were in the ocean or in the sea, I'm going, hypothermia is gonna set in quickly, right? Quickly.
Yeah.
And it's only a matter of time before I either run out of energy to wade in the water and get help, or I just sink into this just bottom abyss of nothing, right? I just become one with the sand.
Dude. Yeah, that's one of my, I don't know, man. I call me a wuss, but dude, just being out in the ocean and just not knowing what's down there, just like literally thinking to yourself, if you were to float inside this massive amount of freaking just water all around you, it's like, dude, there's so many things that can just grab you from underneath. Like, it's just there's no winning it, dude.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
insane. I don't know. It's just it blows my mind. See, like I said, it's that type of stuff that gets my mind spinning when I'm like literally before bedtime. I'm just kind of like my mind just starts thinking about all this stuff, and I opened like this portal where to like just an
So
immense amount of different thoughts just going through my mind.
have,
It's
have you
crazy. It's crazy.
have you ever heard the theory about Earth used to, when it in its early days, used to have what's called a firmament around it?
No,
You've never
please
heard of,
talk to
okay,
me.
so like there's this theory that back in the day, long time ago, that we used to have like a protective layer of water over the earth, right? That
Hmm.
was called the firmament. And so the water would set, it would basically, everything was evergreen, right? There was green, there was no such thing as a desert. There were no rolling hill, or there were no mountains. It was all just rolling hills, just like flat surface. Like the highest mountain would be just a rolling hill. But everything was green, vegetation would grow, and there was so much earth surface, right? So like you could have, like, the population we have in the world right now, it would be nothing because there would be so much land, so much more land. But then all of a sudden that firmament came apart, came down, came then that's what they call in the Christian religion, they call the flood, the great flood, the 40 days and 40 nights of rain. And so that's the
Hmm.
moment that the firmament what became destroyed, and then filled the water up with water. But then at that same time, like, that's when mountains started to come up. There were earthquakes. It was just so much pressure on the earth that the earth reacted in such a way that it all of a sudden mountains just came up. And like the Grand Canyon, that's one thing that a lot of theologian researchers will go through and prove that, hey, this all happened at once. This wasn't over a million years. All of this happened at once. Is because there was so much pressure of water coming down on the earth, and the earth just reacted and killed everything
Insane.
all at once. But yeah,
That's
that's
interesting. That would make a lot of sense though. I could see that how that would come into play on why there's so much water. And
yep.
yeah, man, that's crazy. No, I never heard about that. Wow. Hmm. So that's a biblical text, like that's in the Bible, I would say, I would think.
Yep. That's
Okay.
the story of the flood. That's the whole story of the flood, is that the firmament came apart, and it just became rain, and it just flooded the water, and then finally, everything just fell into place. But the world as we
Interesting.
know it today is post flood. and
Hmm.
and multiple religions actually go into it. Like, you can go into Asian religions, you can go into Eastern religions, you can go into whatever. Even Aztecs and Mayans have this theory of the flood too. And it was just one day, all of a sudden, just the earth just rained for 40 days and then flooded the entire earth.
I think, so talking about, I mean, this is the type of stuff that just like it really interests me because we talk about history, right? A lot of there was such intelligence even back in that time. We think about how
Yes.
even now, right? We're technologically advancing, right, with technology, all that. But even back then, man, I feel they would a lot of these civilizations were so into astronomy to where they were able to tell different things by
Yeah.
studying the stars by looking. And it's like
Hmm.
it's just it makes my brain overload to think like we're such intelligent human beings, bro.
Yeah.
Like we don't even know. We haven't even. I don't think we lost. I think for some reason I have this theory where we just dummy down as humans. Like back then, we were like at our peak of our prime, being just such intelligent human beings. But
Yeah.
slowly, just somehow, we just started coming down from that, and
Well, I
we get
think
what we are.
that
You know,
the dummying down of us, I think that's intentional. I really do. I think that that's intentional. In fact, I've heard that like well, who was it? Rich guy Carnegie, Andrew
Carnegie.
Carnegie.
Okay, okay.
So okay, so Andrew Carnegie, um, it says real quick, Andrew Carnegie was once the richest man in the world, coming as a dirt poor kid from Scotland to the US. By the 1880s, he'd built an empire in steel and then gave it all away, 60 million to fund a system of 1689 public libraries across the country. So what they were saying is that what Andrew Carnegie and people like his kind did was they built this school system, right? They were like, oh, we have to educate. But then as time went on, what they started realizing with these schools is, oh, you know what? Instead of turning these kids into entrepreneurs, into people who um, are the best of the best in the citizenry, we can actually train them to become workers instead. So the skills that you learn in school are all skills that teach you how to be a better worker rather than entrepreneur or leader. And so that's what the theory is with people like him. When they built the school system, it was designed to turn us into employees, to condition us to be employees and
Mm.
never entrepreneurs, never leaders. So anyway, so it basically they said, okay, there can only be so many leaders, and we'll get those people out of Yale, out of all these prestigious colleges, but the people in our school system, they need these leaders need workers, and we need to
Mm.
condition them to become good workers, reliable workers, and so that's what we're going to do with the school systems.
That makes sense. It makes total sense, man. Because I mean, think about it. If everybody was a boss in their own way and just their own entrepreneur, I mean, think about it. I mean, you would need people to keep whatever company you're running or just keeping the wheel turning. I mean, how's that
It'd
going to
be
work, right?
it'd be worth investing into
Yeah,
your school systems. Like, hey, I'll give you this money, but here's the criteria I would like you to teach.
for sure. Definitely. Yeah, man. I don't know. But in regards to just talking about space overall, one of the other things that I got into just deep diving and a lot the big one of the big questions is, of course, was the moon landing real? And
Yeah,
I,
right.
I kind of, it's one of those things too that I've looked at where I was watching footage, right? Like, what is it? They've converted the footage to make it more detailed, just to show kind of how it all went down and all that. And I don't know, man. It just seems to me so out of pocket. Not out of pocket in regards to, it just doesn't seem legit to me. Like the more I was kind of like, okay, pausing, going back, like really paying attention to little details in the video. I don't know, man. I just seems to, and also the follow up question to that: if we were able to accomplish that, why haven't we gone back there as of now, as of recent? The more advanced we got
Yes.
into our rockets, the more advanced we got into technology overall.
Right.
I'm sure we could probably get there a lot quicker than we did before. Why haven't we gone back there? That's my question. I mean, I would legit want to know. I would want somebody from NASA, like I would want to ask, hey, I have a question. I would want to know why, if we have achieved that already, I'm sure
Yep.
we got everything down on the first try to know and be ready for it if things were to occur in that same situation. Because they had some issues at the first time when they tried to go to the moon.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, you would think you would learn from all of this. So why is it that we can apply those fixings to now and
Isn't it
achieve the
weird?
same goal?
No, isn't it weird? Because look at the first model that we had of the vehicle, the Model T Ford, versus what we have today, right? Like literally, we have cars that are fully autonomous. I know they're
Yeah.
still working out all the kinks and all that, but eventually they will get there.
Yeah.
And yet but you look at everything we've done with rocketry, with space and all that, and then you're saying that we haven't like in since the 60s. We haven't been able to improve that enough to actually, so since we supposedly sent people on the moon already, we haven't
Yeah.
sent them back since. But we've had all these other advances. I mean, look at
Yeah.
look at in San Francisco, they have all these codes now, and they can implement these codes because the technology is there, that when an earthquake hits, even a skyscraper that goes way up in the sky is safe from an earthquake, because they built it in such a way that it can absorb the shaking of the earth, right? They do the same thing with the roads. They've done medical advances. They've done all these things, and
Wow.
yet
Mhm.
we still can't get back to the moon.
I don't. Yeah, and that's just a legitimate question. Like, I'm not really trying to say. It just seems kind of sus to me to think that we've already achieved it once. Cool, bravo to us. But why don't we send more people back there? Like, really start like understanding our solar system, or just the moon overall, right? Since that was
Yep.
the big objective. And also, what was this rate? Okay, so this may be a dumb question, but I want to ask you, why was it such a big deal back then? Where I know it was a race between us, China, and Russia to be
Yep.
the first ones to land on the moon. Why was it such a big deal? Like, what's the
Oh,
significant purpose behind that?
because the if you had the top technology, then if you could get to the moon, right, your rockets could get to the moon, then our rockets can surely land on that ass if in a war.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
It's
so
kind of like
that's what we were
Stein.
trying to prove.
It's kind of like
Yep.
Stein. All right. So
We're
you want
flexing
to
on
fuck
that
around and
ass.
find out?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to fuck around and find out. See, I'm gonna send a
Yeah.
missile that could touch the moon, and if it touches the moon,
Mm-hmm.
it's touching that ass too.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was like a flex. Okay, okay, I see it.
That's what
I
it
get it.
was.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yep.
Well, yeah, man. I mean, that's kind of one of the things that I've been kind of on, like the last couple of nights, just watching videos and just understanding and all that. But it's overall, in just the topic of space, man. To think if we have sent people up to our satellites and our satellite space stations that we have up there. There's people that are actually currently up there. I was watching this one of this gal explaining kind of how just what they do on a daily basis, as long as the duration that they're up there for and all that, just kind of doing their thing. It's just to think that people are just free floating up there in those stations above in space above
Yeah.
Earth and overlooking the planet. Oh, dude, just watching that, it's like, dude, it's crazy to think. Like, I wonder how quiet it is to know, like, you're up there and just pure silence, or is it quiet? Because then there's
No,
this other, there's this
no, you hear space noise, dude.
dude, there's this other one too that was good. Like, all right, I need to turn my phone off. I can't fucking listen to this. But it was this one where the supposed, I don't know how they do this, and this is like, I have so many questions to ask about this as well. That supposedly they finally captured what is it, a black hole, is it, they call them black holes, right? Or the
Yep,
black like what they sound like. I'm like, bro, like
dude.
how like what's behind, like what is it? So it's saying that it eats stars, or it eats, I don't know if they're saying it eats planets. I don't know that. I really
It
don't know in the
does.
detail what it does.
Yeah.
So where does it go? Like, is there's
That's
another
the
side to it?
thing.
Like, and then yeah, dude, I don't know. I get so like
But
mind boggled when I think
it's
about this stuff. You know what I'm saying?
I yeah. No, I know. It's like, I'll be on the toilet and I'll flush it, and I know that the turd ends up somewhere, right?
Yeah.
But that's the thing with space, right? It's like it goes somewhere,
Oh, dude, it has to.
but it's
How
like
far does
there's
it
so
go,
much compression there. There's so much like you and
dude?
I would be like the size, like smaller than a mustard seed, and smaller. We would probably be like literally compressed into the size of an atom,
That's
in an
small.
instant. In an
In,
instant.
in a little,
And
like, it's just like a grain of sand, literally.
yeah, well, a grain of sand is like 10,000 atoms. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So
Oh my word, dude! I don't
we would,
know, dude.
and we
It's one
wouldn't
of
feel
those
it.
things.
I mean, dude, if you imagine the death penalty, like to the black hole you go, right? And they're like, you wouldn't even feel it. You wouldn't even feel it.
Oh man, talking about, don't give them ideas, man. I swear, like,
What if,
what if they start doing like, hey, first degree murders, if we find you guilty, that's where you're heading. One, so it'll benefit, right? Benefit the people that are actually, like Elon Musk and all those companies making their they're making those rockets where they land back, they go up in the sky and they actually can be able to come back and just sit
yeah,
themselves back kind of where they started. Like, sending people up there, you just release them, just screw it. See where you go. We'll tag a GoPro to you, or some kind of webcam or whatever. We want to see how far you end up going. And
yep.
yeah, that's it for you though.
You know what pisses me off about people with their take on Elon Musk
Yeah.
is, I hear all the time, oh, Elon Musk is just a master marketer, master of this, right? He's not really as smart as he claims to be. Dude, I don't care if he is a master marketer at all. He's still the guy that brought these people together and made this thing happen that is literally changing our world.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
don't care if it's not his brains physically that are doing it. He was the one smart enough to put the right people together and go
Exactly.
in the direction that he went in. And so you can't shortchange the man. You
No.
know, you can blame him for destroying Twitter all you want.
Yeah, go have a full reign on that. But yeah, man, no, I agree. He's definitely putting the right people in the right positions, to make these things happen. And it's just you got to give him kudos. I mean, either way,
He's a
man.
leader. I don't
Oh, yeah.
care, if he wasn't the one that did it himself, he was still the guy that put it together. And he is still he's to me, he's a genius. And maybe at times an evil genius, but he's still a genius, and you can't take that away from the man. So,
Yeah.
for all the detractors, for all the people talking against my man Elon, he still went against Zuckerberg with the whole Neuralink thing. I don't know where Elon Musk is on that, and it still scares me to death that he's
Yeah.
even going in that direction.
For sure, for sure.
But the guy is still he's for better or worse, he's changing our world that we're living in. And how many people can say that?
Oh,
That
for real. He's definitely leaving his
literally
mark.
changing the world.
Yeah. No, for
Rockets
sure.
that come back, reusable rockets.
Dude.
Before we would just, NASA, we'd be putting all of our taxpayer money into all these rockets that were like, it's a one-time use, and
That's
shoot,
it.
Challenger blew up.
There's your one what is it? $500 million money that we got from all these lovely citizens here in the US. There you go. Just goes away. That's it.
Gone. Yeah, it's gone.
Oh,
But look at all this
man.
amazing research.
I
Yeah,
know,
one
dude.
time I was watching this video it was a 4K video on YouTube of the Mars rover that landed, and it was just so amazing to watch Mars in 4K. And it's beautiful. I mean, it's just like this desert land. I mean, there's no plants, there's no anything,
Nothing.
but it's the most beautiful, untouched desert I've ever seen in my life. It was so mesmerizing to watch. I loved it.
Dude. And to think that humans are I mean, not possibly not in our lifetime, but to think that we're going to be explorers in that realm of people have explored back in their earlier days, exploring different countries, all that, going around. It's going to get to a point where humans are going to be exploring different planets, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. And the cool thing
insane,
about that is at least we don't have to tell the story about like, oh yeah, they came over from Europe and slaughtered all the indigenous people and forced their religion on them. At least we don't have to tell that story to Mars. Like, oh yeah,
I know, man. Right? Just like
built dams, ruined their water supply, ran all their killed all their buffalo and sold all their the skins, and just put the buffalo near extinction. Just talk about that. That's insane.
I know it's like if they were this is a huge if, right? If they were running into other life, I'm like, you don't want to look at our back history. Let's just stay away from that.
Yeah, stay away from the resume, if you will.
We're evolving, we're changing as we're going.
Oh god.
Oh man, no, but it's space, man. Space is it's a scary yet beautiful thing. Obviously the one thing we could definitely admire is I remember when I used to live in Eastern Washington. It was a small town, really nothing out there, mountains. And at nighttime, I remember, man, like it was yesterday, in the summer, in the nighttime, you would just like the moon. When the moon was out, it would just make everything glow at night. It was like you could be able to see well, all that, not like the best, but you were able to see just enough to get by. But overall, to the stars, just to look up and be like, dang, look at all those stars. And just to think like we're just literally
wonder,
one
right?
marble in the galaxy
Yeah.
that is just out there.
And it's just so beautiful, right?
Yeah,
it's just,
man.
you look at it and you're just like, you look at all the crevices in the moon, and all the dents. You're like, oh man, he took a hit on that one.
I'm still trying to look for the flag though. I'm like all trying to look,
I don't. Well, that's what I was gonna say earlier. You were talking about, we were talking about technology advancing.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so with our, satellites and our telescopes and all of our, advanced, why can't we see that flag still there?
That's what I'm saying.
Where's the flag?
That's what I want to
There's
know.
no atmosphere on the moon, they say, so there's nothing that could have blown the moon away, the flag away, right? It would have just been sitting there thing. That's where that video you talk about being fake.
Yeah.
It was fake because the flag was moving and it's like it wouldn't move. There would be no wind to blow.
One side was kind of like flapping, like when the astronaut was touching it, or like when his hand was by it, and it just made it seem like it was moving. I'm like, that's not supposed to happen, is it? So it's just a lot of questions, so yeah, that's just kind of what I dove into, and this is one of the many things that got my wheels spinning in my mind, and just I don't know, there's just a lot of questions.
I love it though. I love where your mind takes you because it's just like it's always a journey. It's always interesting, and it always like me, I'm like so much on like current event news feeds that like when you go there, I feel like a kid again because I'm like, oh yeah, let's go there.
No, man, space is, like I said, it's a scary but beautiful thing. But hey, man, we're gonna figure this. We're gonna learn more as obviously advancement and just research just keeps expanding more and more and more, and we'll know a lot more as the years progress. And that's why we have the lovely pod here to share this all with all you lovely folks who watch this or listen to our podcast. So yeah, man, good stuff overall. Good stuff overall. But on that note, we're gonna close it off. I think this was a good, a good episode to be back on. Obviously, it's always unfortunate that we have to miss a weekly release, but of course, we always come back strong for all you lovely folks. But of course, we always have our past previous episodes if you want to catch up with the podcast overall and our little history. Deep dive into the older episodes, a lot of good content with a lot of awesome people. Go check it out. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn FM Radio, all that jazz. But follow us on Instagram as well. Well, you'll have the latest and greatest up-to-date just updates on the podcast itself. It's down below. Beyond Expedition Podcast.
Over 100 hours of content for you to catch up
on.
And just know that YouTube took a couple of our videos down. So.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have to migrate somewhere else sooner or later if we get that third. Once we get that third, someday. It's definitely it's out time for us. But
I'm like, yeah.
We're back. So we'll be back on another one. We'll definitely we'll try not to definitely miss our weekly releases like we do, but we'll be back on the next one. Hopefully you have an awesome Friday, awesome weekend overall. We'll catch you next one. Take care. We love you. Peace.